Thanks very much to Lynn for outlining the new pay plan, which is a lot to take on board for everybody, but it is there. There are videos explaining it all in full that you can watch as often as you like. And thanks also to Jane for a fantastic session on goal setting, because it is really, really important to find out when you're speaking to people that are looking to join your business what a difference the money that they can make in the business could mean to them. And sometimes, as Jane says, they won't always tell you straight away. But they will be. I've just written down a wee note to myself there based on just something Jane said there that I'll tell you about at the end, Jane. But anyway, so the model that we're looking at is based on teaching people to retail, first of all, 500 to prove they can do it just to themselves, and secondly, the retail model that we're really hoping to teach is £1,000 a month. Now that is very, very achievable after a wee while in the business if you believe in it enough and you decide to do whatever it takes. £1,000 a month in personal sales, which will make you £300 really, including your bonus. So very, very important early on in your business to teach people as quickly as possible how to do that. Okay, so the secret to success is numbers. There are a few ways of looking at it. If you decide to do £1,000 in sales and you're very, very driven and that's what you want to achieve, to make yourself an extra £300 a month, you will do whatever it takes to get your £1,000. Now that can be £500 with catalogues, or it can be and 500 online, or it can just be catalogues, or it can just be online. All of it is achievable, but you have to start really. So if you do some, you'll get some. If you do some catalogues, you'll get some orders. If you do a lot, you'll get a lot. The more you do, the more you'll get. It's as simple as that. So we recommend that you would work with a minimum of 200 catalogues. If you're working in your neighbourhood with catalogues, we would recommend that you work with a minimum of 200 catalogues twice a week for at least 15 weeks, because that's the length of time it takes to build a customer base. 15 weeks is nothing. What were you doing 15 weeks ago? I bet you don't even remember, because the time goes that fast. If you work hard in the early stages for little return, it'll pay you a lot for a little work in the future. Now, everybody in this room today has been retailing with catalogues, or retailing certainly for a long, long time, and we all know how hard we work to build our customer bases, but we all have customer bases now that relatively takes a lot less time than it did in the early days when we were identifying customers. Okay? So it's just really worth having the faith to believe that the people that are teaching you to build your business do know, because they've walked the walk ahead of you, and we do know how long it takes to build a customer base, and it is 15 weeks. Okay? So the more books you work with, the more you learn, and the stronger the customer base you'll build more quickly. Okay? We recommend that you would work with a weekly planner. I think the weekly planner is on the 18 Rhino group, isn't it? Yeah. Yep. So easy to download. If you don't have one and you can't get one, ask your sponsor to send you one. There's no problem with that at all. And the first thing you do with that is look at the timetable for the week and block off your own commitments. So if you have a job, if you have kids to take to clubs and different stuff like that, write all that down first, because these are the immovable objects of your weekly timetable. They're not going to change anytime soon, so put them down. But block off things like your lunch break, what time you go to, what time you're eating breakfast, what things you're doing in the evening, etc., etc. And the next thing you put on it is meetings and trainings. Now, they're really important. It's really, really important to get to as many trainings as you possibly can, because every time you go to a training, even if you think you know everything there is to know about your business, you don't, and you will hear something, you will get a light bulb moment, you will write it down, and you will learn new things and get to associate with people that are walking the walk a wee bit ahead of you, that are having success in the business, and you need to pick their brain. So that is really important. A training can be anything from the Birmingham conference next month on the 24th of February, which we strongly recommend everybody get to. It can be a weekly webinar on a Wednesday night. The Team Rhino group has one, and a Monday night, Team Velocity, which is Tom and Kate's team, we have one Zoom call, a Saturday training like this one, monthly training. So put them in, because they are the most important things you can do in your business, because the more you learn, the more you will earn. Okay. The next thing you put down is your retail plan on your weekly planner. Once you've got all your immovable commitments, you will know how much time you have available to build your retail business, and your activity plan of whatever you're going to do on the sponsoring side of your business if you're looking to build a team. Okay, so on your weekly planner, just basically, just what I've said. Okay, and once you've decided what you want to earn, your sponsor can help you with your retail plan, because not everybody's retail plan is the same. We can make sure you achieve your goal if you're honest with us and tell us what you want from your business. Okay. Some people have joined a business like ours to make £9 a week for a Chinese takeaway, and some people will join for £1,000 a month to pay their mortgage off sooner. It just depends what people want. Everybody's expectations are different. And also everybody's expectations of what's possible will expand the more they get into their business and they see what is possible for them. Okay. So placing or posting with the catalogues. What is placing? Placing is knocking at the door and giving them a catalogue. If you're delivering in a rural area, if I lived in a farm and I saw somebody driving up the road to my farmhouse, I would assume they were coming to talk to me. I wouldn't assume that they were going to furtively run round the corner, put something unidentified through my door and drive away. I would assume that they would knock the door and introduce themselves, and if they didn't, I'd be quite suspicious. So if you're in a rural area where the houses are more isolated, we strongly suggest you place. We used to have a lot of customers on farms round about us because they really appreciated that we took the time to go and visit them and introduce ourselves, and they got to be friends as well as customers. And you don't need to ask them if they would like a catalogue. You can hand the catalogue to them and say, I'm delivering Viva MK catalogues and collecting them on Wednesday. Okay. If you hold it out to them, they'll put their hand out and take it from you. They'll be that stunned that you're saying that to them. If you ask them if they want one, there's a very strong chance they'll say no, because they don't know what it is, because they're not really listening, they're just looking at what you've got. So if you just say, I'm delivering Viva MK catalogues in the area, collecting on Wednesday. Okay. So plan your route. Please do not be random about this. We've seen people being random about this, and people will get the wrong idea. Tom took somebody out with him once. He was doing customer base, and he took somebody out that he was training, and the guy was out, and Tom was going to like number 1, number 7 over the road to number 22, and you know the boy said he would go out and put his catalogues out on his own initially, and he did that. And when Tom went to help him pick them up, he went to a random street and he went to number 1, number 7, number 22, because that's what he'd seen. I kid you not, that's what he did. Because he didn't realise, you know, Tom had said, go to every house. He didn't listen because he'd seen Tom. So that's what he did. He just, it was crossing, yeah, it was bizarre. That's
some do yet.
Yeah. So the best thing to do, we recommend, is get a map of the local area. It's a lot easier to do that now. You don't even need to buy a street planner. You can do it in Google or whatever. I think there's even a program that tells you how many houses are in a street. Can't remember the name of it. Street maps, okay. So break the map down into 5 areas, because there's 5 weeks in a month now. You're going to go back to everybody every 5 weeks. Start close to home. Don't jump from street to street. I've also seen that. Somebody that's still in the business did that many years ago, and he would put his hands up if he was here today and say that. But don't jump from street to street either. Go out of your house, turn left, do every house in your street. Go back, reload, out of your house, turn right, do the rest of the street. Don't jump from street to street. Systematically work in every house, and ignore these stickers that say no salesman, because you're not there to sell in double glazing. You're putting a catalogue through the door, or you're placing the catalogue. If they don't want it, they'll soon tell you. Watch out for empty houses as well, because you'll lose the catalogue. And ignore other distributors, other Viva distributors, and also ignore other companies, because occasionally you'll see somebody else's catalogue on the doorstep. But that catalogue might have been on their doorstep for 3 months. You just don't know. So just carry on regardless, okay? And keep good records of where you go, okay? So your sponsor will show you how to do that. Posting catalogues, you'll need to use a lot more catalogues. Yep. We recommend that you do 200 books twice a week. A popular plan is to deliver them on a Friday, collect them on a Monday, put them back out on Tuesday, and collect them on Thursday. Okay, and there's a wee retail plan for that. Okay. So if you're placing the catalogues, you can go out with less catalogues, but it will take you longer. Because you've met the customers, you can say to them, I'll be picking this up tomorrow, just leave it for 1 day. Okay, and there's a wee retail plan for that. Okay. The trick is never to have the catalogues in your house for any longer than it takes to re-prep them and put them back out again. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So it does. Keep good records. So have a notebook with the date that you're putting them out, the date that you're pulling them back in again, the street name along the top, the date you put them out. Take a note of all the house numbers, because when you pick them up again, that's when your record keeping is going to shine, because you have to decide, you have to make a note of which ones you got back, which ones you didn't get back, who had looked, who hadn't looked, how many you delivered, how many you collected, and what sales were achieved. Stop. There we go. So that's an example of your customer records. It's whatever way you want to do it. I think Jane and some other experienced retailers will have a wee symbol system as well for how they mark off what's been looked at, what hasn't been looked at. Okay, it's not quicker at the time to do it later, it's quicker at the time in the long term to do it at the time. Okay, some of the catalogues will be out. If they're not, just knock the door and say, just here to collect the Viva MK catalogue, please. If they're not in, put a wee slip through to say when you're coming back. From 150 catalogues on a blanket drop, you probably get about 100 at the first attempt, but you will need to go back, depending on the awareness in the area as well. Some people have never seen a catalogue of any kind through their door, and some people have, so there's a lack of awareness sometimes, but you will get most of them back if you're persistent and you go back for them. Record your numbers and results on the retail tracker as well, because you want to know how much effort it's taken you to get the results that you're looking for. Okay, now this is really important. Always check the book to see if there's an order before you leave the doorstep. Okay, now that's not just you're being nosy, that's because sometimes the customer doesn't put their address in, and if there's a £35 order in it, which has happened to everybody in this room, I'm quite sure. Okay. Yeah. So sometimes you can narrow it down to, you know, within a couple of houses, but somebody in our team once had to take a photocopy of the order and put it through 15 doors to find out whose order it was, and he did get it actually, and that was quite a high order, like £40. Yep. Well, it did work for him because he knew, you know, so within a cul-de-sac or something which street it was. Okay, but it happens to everybody, and even worse than that, sometimes happens that people go, I put a £20 note in the catalogue.
Oh no!
You're never going to find that. Although sometimes we've had people that have said, you know, this envelope was in your book, that you wouldn't anyway, that's happened a couple of times.
3 months later.
Yeah. So if you can't see the order form, put a wee note in your records, even put a wee star on the callback slip or something within the catalogue, keep it separate, have a look when you get home. And you can use a thank you for your order slip to let them know when you're going to come back with their order, so that they'll not only be in, but they'll have the money ready, and it should hopefully be the right money as well. And return for your stragglers as soon as you possibly can, because people are less likely to forget again. So we'd recommend the next day, so you can either say tomorrow from 9 AM or tomorrow from 5 PM or whatever, depending on your schedule. Okay. So initially, when you're building a customer base, you might need to go back 2 or 3 times for some of the catalogues, but eventually you'll leave a very last final slip. Sorry, I haven't managed to reach you. If you'd like to order or have the catalogue collected, please call this number. Okay. And that lets them know that you're not coming back again. Okay. If you're posting catalogues, you'll find that 1 in 10 people buy. The average order is about £10, so your average return should be about £1 per catalogue. Okay. But if you're placing the catalogues, it does take you longer to put them out, but it's quicker to get them back. The catalogues actually placed when you've introduced yourself will generate twice that, so you'll get a higher order value per catalogue. The sales per book slowly increase as you cross off people. The people that haven't looked at the book, the people who haven't given it back, people that don't want it, people that lose it, and that's how you're starting to build your customer base. Okay. So you do that on a 5-week cycle, and then you go back to where you started. And on the second visit, you'll miss out all these people that didn't look, people that didn't give you it back, people that said they didn't want one, empty houses, etc. And you already know that, so you're going to be doing less effort for the same return, and that's the start of your base. On the third visit, you'll miss out people that have never looked at the book. That'll be about half of them. And you're getting closer to your customer base, and you'll now be getting about £1.50 to £2 a catalogue. Okay? And you'll find that some people will order on the third or fourth time that you go round that have never ordered before, and the reason for that is they want to know you're going to be reliable and you're going to deliver their order to them and be consistent and come back. Okay, so over 15 weeks, you're going to have visited everybody 3 times, and now you're ready to cut out the people that don't look or don't buy. So you've now got a customer base starting. Instead of visiting 100 houses and collecting £100 of order, you can still do 100 catalogues and collect £300 of orders, because you're only going to identified customers at that point, and you will be able to fit in all your customers in about 3 weeks. Okay. In weeks 4 and 5 of your cycle, you can keep blanket dropping until you build up the customer base to what you want it to be. And again, just remove the non-buyers and non-lookers. Okay. So, Now you're going to customers only. You should be receiving at least £3 a catalogue. You'll get most of them back at the first pickup. You'll have very, very few stragglers at this point. And you'll find, of course, some people have bought once and they never buy again. Some people will let you down, some will lose books, some can't afford their order, some are never in, and some are serial returners. You don't really need them either. Okay. At this point, please realise you're in business. You can choose who you're going to work with. If there's a customer you don't like dealing with that is unreliable or for whatever reason, you don't need to go back to that customer. You are your own boss. You can do exactly what you like. The secret of deleting a customer is never to let the customer know that they've been deleted, okay? Because you might still be going to the people next door, okay? So you don't ever say, I'm not coming back to you. You don't ever have an argument with the customer. You walk away nicely with a smile on your face and you mentally think, I'm not going back to this customer again, but there's 4 other people on the street that might be friends of ours. I'm going to keep going to them and never say anything negative about anybody else. Okay, just be professional at all times, score them off, do the occasional blanket drop to replace them. And of course, over time, unfortunately, some customers do pass away, some move away, some go into care homes, some become ill, and you realise that really it's not, it's not morally right to keep going to them. But you're building a mature customer base all the time. You're keeping it topped up and you're keeping it up to whatever level you want to be retailing at to make your income, because it is your income and you're responsible for it, so keep doing that. And once you've got a mature customer base, you can reasonably expect to achieve £5 to £10 a book. Okay. So for every 8 pickups you do, you're going to get 2 really, really good ones, you're going to get 2 really, really bad ones, and you'll get 4 mediocre ones. Okay, that's just the way it is. It's just the averages. It balances out over the month. And when you're building up a customer base, if you focus on picking up about 20 new customers a week, that will give you a really, really good base over a period of time. Okay. Stragglers and lost catalogues are part of the business. You can't build a business without experiencing all of this. The really, really good thing at the moment is it's so easy to get free catalogues with Viva. But honour, please understand that is a privilege to have that. It's not, don't sit there and expect to get all these books and leave them sitting in the house. If you're getting them, do the company the honour and favour of using them and creating a turnover with them. And don't ever have them in your house if you can at all avoid it. Okay. You'll come across other distributors' catalogues. Carry on delivering your catalogues anyway. Follow the system. You don't know when other people will leave. You don't know if other people are less responsible and less professional than you. Give the best possible service and you'll get the best possible customer base. Different customers buy on different days. This is absolutely true. Some people get their money on a Tuesday. Some people get their money at the end of the month. Some people have got outgoing commitments, and if you happen to put a catalogue through their door on that day, you're not going to get an order. But if you go back to them, a week later, it just depends. People's buying habits are totally different, and there are no territories, obviously, in Viva MK, which we see as a massive positive. A lot of companies say, oh, I'd really like my own area. But there was a lady that came to this training a while ago who worked with our main catalogue competitor at the time, remember? She came and she had been so good at building a customer territory for that company that the company had taken off the territory from her and given her another new territory to build, and took away her income entirely because they wanted to give that established territory to a new start. And that to me is not, you're in charge of who you're selling to in this business, and that's a major, major positive for us. Absolutely huge. Most established distributors only service 300 or 400 customers a month. Therefore, the majority of houses in any town will not be receiving a catalogue on a regular basis, and that's especially true for us being a new company at the moment. Yeah. So 300 to 400 customers a month, if you're getting that £5 to £10 a catalogue, that's between £1,500 and £2,000 worth of business a month for a customer base that you might have built years ago. So have a look at the long term, have a look at where you're going to be in 6 months' time, a year's time, and go through the pain just now of building your customer base if you're new, and realise that eventually it's going to become a lot easier. What makes retailing tick? Making a plan and sticking to it. Maintaining a frequency of reliability. Your customers expect you. We always tell our customers they don't need to buy all the time. We're only there to provide a service. Some people think they're expected to buy every month, and we don't ever want to put people under pressure, so we always say to them, we're providing a service, we'll get new stuff all the time. Sometimes you'll buy, sometimes you'll not be seeing anything you want, but that's fine. We'll be here every month regardless. Okay. Be there without fail when you say. Get your name in front of the customer at every available opportunity. So make sure your order forms are labelled, they know who you are, have your name on your day slip, etc, etc. Some people put their photograph in the day slip, some people don't, but make sure they've got your name, they've got your contact details.
Edit even if the customer. It's a bit of an edit there.
Yeah, well, that's not really the case now, but refund or replace without question. Make sure the customer knows if it's not suitable, we can return it. Okay, so keep good records from day one. Get to know your customers by name, build a relationship with them. Most of my customers now, I've got their phone number logged on my phone, and particularly when I'm going out in the evening in the dark to do deliveries, I will text them or phone them and say, "Are you in for delivery? I'll be around in 10 minutes." That saves you time. It gets, it means they know who's coming to the door. For a lot of us with the catalogue customers, they tend to be a kind of older profile, so they appreciate the time that you'll spend chatting to them on the doorstep, because you might be the only person they've seen that day. So build a good relationship with your customers, and if you look after your customers will look after you. And remember to add them to your Facebook shop. Okay. We have our Facebook shop on our day slips. We had a customer in her 80s who lives in a pensioner bungalow who we had no idea she was on Facebook. She joined our Facebook group. She's so far bought something like 20 duvet sets because she gives them to her family for Christmas. She loves all the stuff. She'll say, "I don't see mermaids in your book. Can you get me a mermaid?" "Aye, I can get you a mermaid." So you don't know who's going to join your shop. You don't know who's going to join your business. Just make sure that if they're going to join the business or join a Facebook shop, they're going to join with you. Okay.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Kate.